Hey, good morning. So as Christians, when we pray, we have to pay attention to our surroundings and also to what is going on, in the society or in the world. Because sometimes God answers our prayers without us knowing. You might be praying for something, but God answered it already. Maybe He answered it 10 years ago, and it's just right there under your nose, but you can't even see it. So, as Christians, when we pray, we must pay attention, okay? And also, we must also have those eyes that the Bible talks about. Not these physical eyes, but the spiritual eyes. We have to ask the Lord, please, God, bless me with spiritual eyes so that I can see what the physical eyes can't see. So, have you observed that at every prominent death in Zambia, something about HH is being exposed? First of all, start with Lungu, which is so much about HH was exposed, actually. Satanism and Freemasonry. When Lungu died, we just heard rumors about HH being a Satanist and a Freemason. But after he died, we saw that he made a first trip. I think one of the first trips he made, international trips actually, was to go to Scotland, for Freemasonry global conference. He flew there. Even right now, even about Group 3, but this Group 3, nobody has defended that, that trip. Nobody has defended that trip. They only say it's so sana and all that nonsense. He traveled for the first time, and he was exposed. Everybody knew. So after Lungu died, the first trip was to attend that conference. Second trip HH made was to go to Tanzania to celebrate the inauguration, while the bodies, the blood, the blood is all over the streets of that country. And he even made a speech. At that inauguration, all the presidents in Africa, they didn't go. They said no. They didn't want to go there because they knew that no, it is full of blood and it's not even a fair election. But HH, a Zambian president, has to go there by himself, only him. He went there and made a speech. Do you remember the speech? I remember, I can tell you. He said these words: "I'm happy that you are enjoying the peace. So please continue enjoying this peace. Continue enjoying the peace that you've been enjoying." He's saying that when the dead bodies are outside, on the streets, laying there, and the streets are filled with blood, dry blood, and HH is saying those words. That's what Satanists do. Okay? That's what Satanists do. Satanists go to celebrate where there's blood. He has to go there. Even neighboring Kenya, because Kenya is the neighbor to Tanzania. Congo DRC. What's this? Burundi, I think Burundi or Rwanda. They are neighbors. They didn't go, but HH has to go there, has to travel to celebrate the blood. So then before that, nobody knew that HH was capable. In fact, before Lungu died, nobody knew that HH was capable of taking the widow to court because Wamuta Chitumbi at Watamepo body viewing. So nobody knew that he was capable of doing that. Nobody knew that HH was capable of sending people to break into the mortuary and steal the body, cut it up, and while himself is watching on the camera, on the video, is watching on FaceTime. Nobody knew that HH would do that. But all this is because of Lungu's death. And also he pretended to be doing post-mortem. Up to now, it's been maybe 2 or 3 months. There are no results of post-mortem. Ask anybody about Group 3, but they can't even explain. Where are the results of the post-mortem? Then if there are no results of the post-mortem, what was HH and these people doing with the body? Cutting the body for what? It's because they wanted body parts. Okay? So Lungu's death has exposed HH as a Satanist and also as a Freemason because of the trip he made to Scotland. The president has died. You've seen, you're not talking about the chair, right? We heard about the chair. Many people didn't even understand. Maybe we thought, people thought that it was a lie. But now you have understood, you have seen it. That, oh, you know what? He moves around with a chair. And this is the man that says he does not believe in witchcraft. Even defending HH it's so impossible. Even a genius can never defend HH. But if he Puba, they will defend him. So Mupezeni has died. He's a prominent person. He's a okay. I don't like to copy a human being a king. I will never call anybody a king. So you can call him a king Yamakosi. That kind of nonsense. Me, I don't do that. There's only one king, and that's Jesus. So to me, he was a chief paramount. So the chief paramount has died, and HH has been now exposed. Everybody is now talking about HH now, about the chair. Imagine the chief died. The famous chief, he was known in Zambia. But the day was being buried, he was put to rest. People have been talking about the chair, not the chief. You see the distraction? God has distracted the people now from focusing on the chief, now focusing on the chair. This man, look at the chair. There's something about that chair. And this is a man who's at the helm of the Christian nation. God is teaching us something. We have to pay attention. This man is a Satanist. He's a Satanist and he's a witch. And he's a wicked man. He has no mercy for anybody. Just look at what he's doing to Garin Kombo. Garin Kombo, who took care of UPND when he was in jail. He took care of UPND. But look how he's persecuting him. He sent the ECZ and the police to stop his campaigns. But himself is campaigning there, HH in Mazapuka. All these things just under your noses. So I just made this video just to tell you, before I go to work, that let me tell my people that at every prominent death, I pray to God that there will be no more prominent death, this year, before elections. But every prominent death, HH has been exposed. And people had doubts about the chair. All the doubts have now gone because they've seen it. And because of Prsdt died. Without Prsdt dying, we wouldn't even have known about the chair. It would have just remained as rumors. Without Lungu dying, we wouldn't have known that HH is a Satanist, and HH was capable of cutting the body, breaking into the mortuary. We wouldn't have known that HH was capable of sending Chavinga to South Africa to corrupt judges. We wouldn't have known that. So these two funerals have exposed HH. Have a good day. Hey, so you saw today Mundubire, our incoming president, standing next to Cosmo Mumba, challenging HH, that if you are telling the nation, that why they should bring back the Panga party, like PF, then what about these Pangas that we are seeing in Mazabuka, in Monze, just the whole southern province anyway, and part of our western province, the Pangas and the bloodshed and the knives. And what about the plucking of the eye from someone's sockets in central province? Are those not Pangas? Are those not deadly weapons? So do you want us, the country, to continue with that? He has challenged HH. So let's see if HH is going to say something. Because me, for sure, I know that HH doesn't like someone to challenge him. Like intellectually, he's not up there. So he doesn't like being challenged. He will keep quiet. He's just like his cadres. If I post something sensible and challenging them to explain, cadres, they go quiet, they go silent. If I ask them, like today, I posted the video earlier, that if HH wanted post-mortem, and HH and his government wanted post-mortem, on Lungu, where are the results? If there are no results for 2 months or 3 months, there are no results of postmortem, but they stole the body. They broke into the mortuary, stole the body, pretending to be doing postmortem. So there are no results of postmortem. But group 3 explain. They can't even explain. They have nothing to say about Group 3. But when I post, something nonsensical, they will swing onto my page to defend HH and talk about the nonsense and all that. But when I bring out the facts, they go silent. It's same as HH, their leader. He's been challenged by our incoming president. That tell us why there's so much bloodshed. So do you want us, the country, to continue, with this? And are these not pangas? And he also mentioned something critical. Mundubire, why is it that every time there is a crime, in fact, there is that cadre, that police cadre, Fred Hamamba, and when there is UPND committing violence, why always the laptop is missing and 20,000 kwacha is always missing? It happened. It happened with Mumbipiri. It also happened in Mazabuka with Garinkombo. Or 20,000 kwacha and laptop was missing. Now it's also happened in Chipata with Cosmo Mumba. So you see, this is what I tell you always, that you need to be Chipuba to support HH. So all these things, you can't just notice that you want to Lee Crook and is evil. And also, he don't have good in Samushi, like the type of thing Samushi. Okay, one minga bati, minga shaba grade 3. You can't be using the same excuse that laptop na 20,000 kwacha na Iruba kumazapuka. Pay mumbipi laptop na 20,000 kwacha na Iruba. Our Bishop Bako Catholic Barik Banda store, he stole the vehicle. Like those lies, like those are petty lies. And also it's primitive actually for the whole president who has a degree in economics doing that kind of nonsense. So Mundubile has challenged him. Tell us, why should we remain with you when there's so much bloodshed in your strongholds and you can't even control that? He won't say anything. Trust me. You'll keep quiet. You'll go quiet. Then the other thing is that I want to challenge the incoming president, Mundubile and Makebi. You two are lawyers and you are intelligent. You are far more intelligent than HH. Please, just like you pledged today, Mr. Mundubile, President Mundubile, you pledged that one of the first things you are going to do after inauguration, you are going to fire all the cadres in the police force, and you are going to make the police force as an independent, institute. It will be there will be no more cadres, and you'll be hiring people according to merits. No one to abule phone at Fred Hamamba. He can't even speak English. What's a bigger cadre? Even humiliating himself. Humiliating himself, Chipatoko, in front of Makebi. Makebi, I just asked him 2 questions. He went numb. So Mundubile promised. So we were President Mundubile. Now I'm addressing you face to face. You promised us that today. You promised that you are going to hire police officers on merit. So when you do that, please open this court case. Okay, we need it open and put to rest, because we are going to praise you. Actually, we are going to say, what, Sata Alif looks to solve this, this court case. Lungu Alif looks to solve. HH Alif looks to solve. Finally, Balmundu to solve. So you'll be a hero. You'll be our hero. Remember that Ruth Mband was an orphan. Her real parents died. So people that took care of her were her aunt and others. They don't care so much. That's why they don't even talk about her right now. They don't care. If that was their own child, they'll be fighting for the justice. So please, as lawyers, Imamama lawyers, you fight for the people. You fight for the for the voiceless. Fight for Ruth Mbandu. Her blood is still crying. It's in the soil. It's still crying. So the blood of Ruth Mbandu is still crying. It needs you, my lawyers. It's been waiting for you, 2 lawyers, to solve it. Okay? Then by HH our 40, just one last thing. You people support HH. I call you Fipua because of this reason. You don't question yourself that what is this thing we are supporting, because it does not stop lying. So today HH just lied again that he's going to build 10 stadiums in each provinces. 10 stadiums in each province, but umuntu aliflo ama promises up for the past 5 years. when you love someone, I'll give, I'm the good example. I loved Sata 100%. He's the best politician, that I've ever loved. But do you know that I criticized Sata Ruth Mbandu? After he sent Solomon Njere to the foreign mission, I said, "No, what, Sata, you know something, Appa. You need." I started fighting for Ruth Mbandu a long time ago, since 2012. Solomon Njere came on TV. We are closing in. It's a high-profile case. So soon we'll be arresting someone high-profile. Immediately, Sata sent Solomon Njere Munanikan. Adama rumors you have only Mao Sampa. So I was criticizing Sata. Sata, I love you, but I want you to explain to the nation why you did this. Because Sata, he never explained. I still feel that, even now, that Sata went into his grave with the facts of Ruth Mbandu's murder. And I'm not happy about that, but I still loved him. Lungu, I condemned Lungu. In fact, I even regret for condemning him, actually. I condemned him for putting HH in jail for 3 months. And HH was like a rich man now, looking like, he looks disheveled. He looks dirty and poor. I felt so bad. I was challenging Lungu. If you're a Christian, please forgive HH. Of which, okay, I was stupid to even say that. In fact, he should have kept HH forever in jail. But I loved Lungu, but I was criticizing him. That's what love is. If you love someone, criticize them. Mama, criticize HH, criticize much. We are going to vote for you, but here, say that. But you still continue praising HH. Oh, such sana. He's lying to you. That bloodshed, did you see one? Okay, did you see one kumazabuka among those people who are fighting, or kumongu, or anywhere, anywhere where there's violence, like UPND to UPND fighting each other? Did you see any son of a minister or any rich kid, being beaten? No, it's poor people fighting each other. You poor UPND fighting each other, and the boss in State House is quiet, is watching. He's watching you. He doesn't even care. It's like the country has no president, but you are still fighting each other and still saying 2020. Bye.